Yeah, we know that you can see the microphone and it looks absolutely hideous, but we've heard your feedback. You want better audio quality, and this was a quick fix that we're kind of working on. So I'm sorry about the microphone. You won't see it as much in the future when we upgrade, but it's just a temporary fix. So it's there, and don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Esports Vikings Weekly. I'm your host Teemu and I'm joined by my friend
Janne.
Today we are gonna, well, not travel particularly, but we're gonna talk about something that's happening in Finland that's actually being long waited for. We're going to have the first arena level esports tournament in our lovely capital Helsinki called Arctic Invitational.
Very exciting for the Finns. Finally having a big event like that.
It's been a while, you know. We've had some good stuff happening in Assembly before with the CR4ZY Gaming. We've hosted pretty good Counter-Strike tournaments with actually pretty good lineups. Now this summer in the summer Assembly we had the StarCraft 2 tournament with big names in it. So things are starting to happen, but now it's time to go to the big stage, and Arctic Invitational is happening on 14th of September, which is a Saturday, and it's going to be held in Hartwall Arena, which for some people is known as the home rink for Helsinki Jokerit, the hockey team. The Finnish men's national hockey team plays in Hartwall Arena too, and then of course, I don't know how many different concerts and events, annually. A big arena for esports, finally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been to Hartwall Arena once. It was for ice hockey some people might know me as a Swedish guy over here, but I'm pretty much as much Finnish as Swedish, and I speak Finnish as well. So I've been there watching ice hockey. It's a great arena. It's going to be great to see esports finally in Finland, taking the next step. I think for a long time, Finland has been on the rise. They had good events. They had good, especially Counter-Strike tournaments. And now this year we had some, we took steps forward, right? And this is the next level.
Yeah. And I mean, on the press and everything, what's been said about this, that this is a pilot.
Yeah.
If and God, hopefully when Arctic Invitational is a success, it opens up the door for even bigger things to come. So there's been some criticism because it's only a one-day event that, according to seeds, you just play the two semifinals as best of threes and then the final. But still, it's easily, 12 hours of quality Counter-Strike, big arena. So we have the elements for a massive esports extravaganza, kind of.
Yeah, I think obviously the criticism, I understand it. It's not like watching a CSGO major or something. Of course, it's a smaller event, but as you said, it's a step in the right direction. And obviously, as Finland has ends in the CS scene and they have top players in Dota 2 and StarCraft as well, we are probably looking at this event being a success means that the door is opening for other things to happen. So this is very, very important for Finnish esports in general.
Yeah, I agree completely. And with that said, you mentioned ENS, but unfortunately ENS is not part of Arctic Invitational. That's because we have the Blast Pro Series Moscow at the same time, and a lot of those high tier 1 teams are in Moscow. But still, at the same time, I think we have a really strong lineup for the tournament.
So yeah, we do have some interesting teams in the tournament, and I think the lack of ends is one thing. People would like to see them, obviously, but we do get another Finnish team and also another Finnish player. And the teams are, even though they're not top tier teams, they are teams on the rise, and I think that can make for a very, very interesting tournament, actually.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are kind of expecting, when something big is about to happen, it has to be like a massive erupting volcano, we get the best teams ever and best things and best this and best that. But what people don't understand is to be able to get the highest tier of everything happening, you need to do the steps between. And a lot of the criticism is about, the first invite was honored NRG that unfortunately had to cancel for, God knows, whatever reason. But still, we have quality teams. Furia has already showed that they can beat the big ones. multiple times. Cloud9, I think their lineup, it's not the strongest that they've ever had, but there's a lot of potential there.
Definitely, and I think it would be kind of interesting to start from our top to bottom, how we look at the teams. And like you said, Furia is a team that they are very, very interesting. They have the potential, and they had some really big upsets this year, but they definitely lack consistency, and their map pool needs some work as well. But it's definitely a team that I look at, and I would say they're a favorite for this tournament. And they can also, I really hope they can get it together at the end of the year and go into 2020 and maybe be like the best Brazilian team and at least challenge for being a stable top 10 team in the world.
And like, this is like a question, what do you feel about it? But with Luminosity / SJGaming / MIBRs as their sun is starting to fade away a bit, going down.
The whole year has been honestly a disaster for them.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. There's no way around it. And now with Colsera leaving, it doesn't look good. And I think Furia is the team that are looking to take that number one spot. Arguably, they are already in the number one spot in Brazil, honestly.
Yeah, true. But just plain question, do you see Furia being a top 3 team in 1 year?
No. I mean, I don't think anybody could say top 3. That's
okay,
way
top 5.
Too ambitious. I would say top 10.
Within a year?
Potentially.
Okay.
But it's going to be hard.
Right.
That's a lot to ask. Like, you look at the top 5 teams in the world, it's very, very solid teams.
Yeah.
But sure, they could make an ends, or there's been many teams who, during 1 year, they evolve a lot. And of course they could, but I would say realistically top 10.
All right, fair enough. So, number 2.
Crazy is actually my number 2. I think they have been, I don't know how to put it really. They got the lineup together in July, I think, and it's a very interesting team. And like we talked about earlier, they have a Finnish player in Otto. And they also have 2 Serbs, 1 Bosnian, 1 Lithuanian, I think if I remember correctly. And they are a team that nobody probably expected much from, honestly. And they've been surprising everybody. But they still have a lot of work to do. It's a new team, and this is one of the tournaments where they can come in and show up. They don't. In this mix of teams, I think they need to succeed going into the future. Like this is the type of teams that they should be able to beat if they are looking to take the next step.
Wait, what was the major before Berlin, before the pro break?
We had Cologne.
Cologne, yeah. Crazy was there. They were still known as Valiants at the time.
Yes, most of the players, I think 4 of the players in this team are from the old Valiants. And that's also a team that's been, all the players are quite young. And that team upset many top tier teams as well.
True.
So it's hard to say. They still have a long way to go to be a consistent, let's say, top 10 team for them as well. That should be like their goal. They have what it takes to get there, I think, in terms of skill, and they are still young and they can still get there, but it's a long way, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so then number 3, with the HLTV rank of 19, we get the North American squad, Cloud9.
Yes, I think their ranking is kind of irrelevant right now. This team has not been together for a long time, and during this year they have gone through a lot of players in Cloud9. It's hard to say really what's going on there. They've been going through players like Flasha, Kiyoshima, Rush was there. Honestly, Cajun B was there.
Tariq too?
No, I don't think Tariq was one of them. But I might be wrong. But anyway, look at it. They switch players every second month this year. And now they took in another lineup, almost completely 4 new players. And I think they are kind of the rejects, They but this team is interesting on paper for sure. They have Automatic, Daps, Mixwell, and can you remind me of the 2 last ones?
No.
Oh, Tens and whatever. There's one more.
There's one more.
But let's put it like this: they are definitely players who
Kusta,
yeah. They have all played in top tier teams at times, and if they can get this together, there's definitely potential, and they could put Cloud9 back on at least being a solid team, because they haven't been for a long time.
For me, like when I think of Cloud9, what comes to mind is nothing.
Okay.
And not nothing as...
Are we talking the player?
Yeah, we're talking about Jordan Gilbert.
Okay.
No, I didn't mean to disrespect the entire organization, but...
I thought it was a bit harsh, but, you know, I would also... Honestly, this year, it would be pretty accurate. But yes, I think moving on from that, it's the same there. The level of the teams in this tournament should give them a chance to win. Just on paper, the players are good. We just don't know how they will perform together, and that's for the future to tell, really.
Yeah.
It's a new lineup, and they are looking to build up again because Cloud9 has had a lot of issues. So
for the NA team, this Arctic Invitational tournament, they're like, hey, we're back, and this is their time to show again, like that they're actually back, not just being present physically.
I mean, it's pretty interesting in the sense that looking at it, if we go back a year or two, we had Liquid and we had Cloud9. They were the two NA staples, and now we're looking at a situation where Liquid is by far, I would say, the best team in the world, and we are looking at Cloud9. Where are they? That's the situation, and it's time for them to find a new team, start building.
Okay, and then on the last spot in the tournament, we have the Finnish champion, SJGaming. I might be wrong, but I'm going to say both of them because I don't remember which of the tournaments it was. But no, it wasn't Telia, so it was Elisa.
SM or whatever.
Yeah, ESM by Elisa probably.
Yes.
Could be very wrong. And apologies for that. Either way, SJGaming, so they beat Havu in the finals. Actually, for me personally, it was a bit of a surprise. I know, like, after ends, there is SJ and Havu are the next top, like in the top 3, those two. And for whatever reason, I thought, or I had the feeling that Havu is the stronger team, but SJGaming played really well in the finals. And it's always... He's become sort of a meme in the community about Xarte, playing since forever, always been there. It's always nice to see, some like a legendary player kind of perform.
He's one of the players that I personally known for such a long time. I started watching, Counter-Strike somewhere in the beginning of the 2000s. So it's a long time ago, and it feels like Xarte's been there almost since then. Obviously, it's probably a few years later, but it's kind of cool to see him, getting here, because honestly, in my mind, and I haven't been following the Finnish scene that much, obviously with the rise of ENCE, it's been a little bit more interesting, and I've seen them play like SJGaming and Havu and Koba and stuff like that, or teams like that, and but it's still interesting to see Xarte there. Like, in my mind, he's one of the really, really in the old guard, So it's fun to see him actually getting back here too. It is a big stage after all. So
I mean, when it comes to Finland, this is the biggest stage that we've ever had there. Yeah. And then there's the young guns like Jampi, Sadix, Arvid. Karon is part of the older generation, but so I think SJGaming at the moment is a good mix of like young and upcoming and like players who's been there and seen it all. Xarte, I think Xarte he's been in major with Rockcat when it was Natu, Xarte, Stonde.
I will definitely not remember all the players because it's been, it's that time. It was
and Sunny.
Okay.
They didn't make it was Cologne, 2015 probably.
I would say the Finnish scene for me. I'm not gonna sit here and lie or anything. I've been following it, but the new teams like SJGaming and Havu, I don't really have a good picture of how they are. But the old school lineups, like you mentioned, some of the players like Natu and Nasu and so on.
Yeah.
They all been there for a long time, but it's so many different lineups. They jump teams all over the place, and
that's been the problem in Finland.
Definitely, but I think it's super cool to see Finland right now because there's so much upcoming talent, and there's so many players. All of these teams are kind of energized, by ENCE rise to the top. I feel the young players are probably more motivated than ever, and they also have a different, like the outlook is just different, because before ENCE, we had all of these teams, like all of the teams we mentioned, and then we had like ENS was a team, every now and then, and it was kind of a circus, people just changed teams all over the place. There was no structure. I feel it's a little bit different now. And a team like SJGaming, like you said, they've been looking good, apparently. I'm not going to say I've seen it myself, but I heard they look good and they have some talent and they are getting to the stage and they can show up and get a chance. So,
I mean, as you've said before, the rankings are kind of irrelevant, but just to put it there, Furia, which is the highest ranked team in this tournament, is ranked 9 as 9. And SJGaming's rank at this time is 78. So there is quite a significant gap between in rankings. But then again, even if SJ would go out in the semi and like be out of playoffs, but if they play all 3 maps, and they actually challenge Furia, it's obviously it's going to be heartbroken. They're going to be heartbroken, They're playing in Finland on the biggest stage. But then again, if you put it to reality that they're facing teams that they might not be prepared for yet. But if they can challenge these teams, it's going to give them shitloads of motivation to go forward. Like, hey, we actually challenged these guys. We took a map from them. Okay, we didn't make it this time, but we actually fought for it.
I think it's very important from what you're talking about. Just look at the Finnish scene. Like now, there were many teams who fought for this spot. And that's great motivation for the players, to fight for a spot and a chance like this. And that's something that will bring the whole Finnish scene further. And also, if, let's say, SJGaming actually show up and challenge these teams, that's a boost for every Finnish team who are behind ENS, because that's the situation we are looking at. It's ENS, and then we have the other teams.
Yeah.
But it would give everybody motivation to get a chance like this. So I think it's great for the scene. And as a Swede, I would say I've seen this evolve in Sweden, a few years back. And we had in Sweden loads of tournaments, like close to like the assemblies of the Finland. But it started growing, and now we have the DreamHack Masters and so on. And in Dota 2 as well, it's the same situation where we had majors even in Dota. And it's very important to grow the tier 2 and tier 2 scenes. It's very, very important. And I think that's something that Finland was lacking in early on. And now we slowly evolved into this situation. And it's great to see. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing for Finnish CS in general.
Yeah. So just I want to see that. Obviously, it's hard to imagine it. But how cool would it be to see SJGaming actually beat everybody and win the entire thing?
Also, how cool would it be to see it in person in Hartwell Arena?
Oh, but that's fixed already. I got our flights and hotels. We're going. Don't worry about it. So we're going to be in Hartwell Arena for Arctic Invitational. Should be pretty fun. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be our first esports trip together.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure we'll show people some footage, some pictures from us being there, and it's going to be good fun.
We might do something.
Of course.
I think we should wrap it up for today.
Sounds like an idea to me.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Hartwell Arena, actually this weekend on the 14th of September, checking out Arctic Invitational, and we hope to see you there too.
Make sure to check our Twitter for pictures, videos from the location, and everything else.
Remember to subscribe to our channel because we need 100 subscribers to be able to get our custom URL. So do it now!
And also, we should probably add that all the feedback we got is very, very useful. And in the future, any type of feedback, any ideas for shows, anything like that, we appreciate it very, very highly. And so speak up, people.
Yeah, speak up. I think this is it for Esports Vikings weekly episode Arctic Invitational, where we're actually going in person. We will see you next week, and probably I will have a new teeth, which I want, but I'm not going to maybe do something about it. Who knows? Ciao. Goodbye.